You're already logged in, and from here you know we're going to do a practice together. So we do create new design. So please click on create new design right here. And it opens up a new TinkerCad project for you. We are going to rename it. So click on the name in the corner here, and you're going to name it Keychain, because today you'll be making a keychain. So go ahead and put that and push enter to get out of that tab. So we're going to make a simple keychain with our name or someone's name on it. So to get started, we are going to grab, let's see, the polygon down here. So you scroll down just a little bit and grab the polygon. And that's the shape we want to start. So to resize, remember you can grab one of these little boxes in the corner. So grab one of the corner boxes and you're just going to drag it so it's quite wide compared to what it was. So it's looking about like that. All I did was click this box and drag. So have yours look something like that, please. Okay. Now you can choose the color of yours. So you just click on the shape, and remember you go up here and push on the solid. You click there and you should see all the colors. So go ahead and pick one. I'm gonna go with a dark orange. So we've got our polygon on there. One thing I feel like I might have forgotten to tell you is how to delete things. Maybe you figured it out, but in case you didn't, I just want to say it now. If you have a shape you don't want, all you need to do is you can push on this toolbar of delete, or you can use your keyboard and just push backspace like you would delete anything else. So in case you hadn't figured that out yet, that's how you get rid of stuff. But let's go ahead and get some text on our keychain. So you'll see over here under basic shapes, you'll see the text, and I just can click and drag it onto my work plane. And then I can choose what I want it to say right here. I just backspace and I can enter maybe my name, or if you want to put mom or a friend's name, that's fine. I'll just put Meyer. So I'm putting my last name. And you're putting what you want. If you have a really long name, you might want to choose a nickname or something. And then you'll see next to here there's font, and you can choose, there are just a couple fonts if you want to try the different ones. And pick the one you like. Okay, so mine's looking okay. So right now we're going to lift it up. So in case you forgot how to lift, you find the little teardrop that should be kind of in the center. Usually looks like a black teardrop. We're going to lift up to approximately 10. So click down and drag, and you'll see the numbers start to show up. Drag until yours says 10 or around there. If it's not exact, that's fine for this. Actually, keep dragging. Let's say we want it to go to about 15. Yeah, 15 looks better. So go ahead and position yours on there. And as a reminder, make sure that you're rotating all around, because a lot of times people start lifting up and they don't really pay attention to the numbers and they just keep going and say, that's all right. Then when they rotate around, they go, ooh, oops, floating in air. So make sure you're rotating around and being sure that it's connected the way that you think it is. Like this is sitting right in there. And this bottom dotted line tells me how deep my letters are into this other shape. So you lifted yours up and you positioned it about how you want it. Our next step is we're going to click on our name. So be careful you're getting the name and not the whole thing. You can tell you have just your name when the box is mostly around your name instead of the whole shape. So click on your name and go up here and click on Hole. So we're going to cut it out of our keychain. Then we're going to go ahead and click down and drag. If you remember that step, you just click and that you click off of your shapes and that box starts to show up, and you drag it over top of your shape. I click on it and I push Group. Remember, it's up in this toolbar here, Group. And now mine is cut out. It's not cut all the way out, which is what I wanted. It's just cut out some of the way. So hopefully yours turned out that way as well. And I can still resize if I want it to be a little bit different. And now we need a way to attach this keychain to whatever we want it to be on. So the easiest way to do that is to scroll down and get this shape that's called a torus. It's blue, it kind of looks like an inner tube. You drag that onto your work plane. And right now it's not the right size, but I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to lift it up to about 10. So remember, to lift up your torus that you just brought on your page, you grab the little black teardrop and drag until the number says approximately 10. And then I'm going to try to drag it into my other shape so it's connecting. This can be kind of hard to tell, so I'm going to rotate around a lot in order to see what's going on. So I'm just moving it a little bit at a time, rotating, checking it. And the arrows on your keyboard also move your shape if you just want to move it a little bit at a time. So I use that quite a bit. Okay. So you lifted it to about 10 and then rotated around to make sure it looked okay. Okay. So if you want that to be a different color, you're welcome to. You just click on it, and then let's say I want that to be, I actually kind of like the blue. I'll do a darker blue. So I want that to be blue or whatever you decide. And then I am going to group them together so that if I move it, like, oh, I moved it, it moved away from my shape, which is not what I want. So I'm going to undo that. Remember where undo is in this toolbar up here to bring it back where I need it. If you ever goof up, remember, please just use undo before you feel too frustrated. So I'm going to group this, so all I do is remember, click down off of my shapes and drag over top. I'm going to let go, and then I am going to group my shapes. So what I do is I click on group right here. You'll notice my colors didn't stay different. We'll talk about that in one sec. But right now, if I move it, it'll stay together as one shape. So if I want that to stay blue though, what I need to do is go click on my solid right here, the orange color that I had chosen. Click on that and go do multicolor. And now the blue will come back, but it still moves as one piece. Okay, we're going to do one more little thing for practice. Go ahead and grab a shape. How about a star? So go ahead over here and grab a star. It's under your basic shapes. You just have to scroll down a little bit. Here's the star. Let's say I want to put a star on this end. So that's a little bit tricky. So I want to show you how to rotate. So if you look at the star you just put on here, you'll see 3 sets of arrows around it. And those arrows, if you click down and drag, rotate it in different ways. So go ahead and just rotate around using those 3 sets of arrows and see what you can get to happen to your star. So all I'm doing is looking at those 3 sets of arrows. Sometimes one can be really hard to see, so you might have to rotate just a little. But all you're doing just for practice right now is rotating around with your arrows. Okay, so hopefully you rotated. Maybe yours looks all wonky like mine. I'm just gonna delete that. So I push backspace to get rid of that. And then I'm gonna grab a new star. So grab a new star if you need one. And what I'm gonna do is rotate it up onto its side. So it's gonna be kind of a 2-part thing. So what I'm going to do is click on this back and forward one right here. So it's pointing towards the back of my work plane and the front. On the side here, I click on it. I'm going to type in 90, 90, enter. That one's usually a good one because 90 is exactly a quarter turn, so that keeps it well rotated. But that's not all that I want. I also want to rotate it so it will be flat. So I'm going to grab this lower one right here on the side, and this should rotate it to the side. So again, there's one on the top. Make sure you're grabbing the one on the side like this, and I'm going to put in 90, 90, enter. This part I know can be tricky, so if yours isn't turning out just right, don't worry about it. That star is far too big for what I want. So I'm going to resize, so all I do is click on the box and I drag it smaller. Oops. Drag it smaller. So I'm just playing with all the different boxes to drag it smaller. So I can drag it this way smaller, then grab the top box and drag it shorter, smaller. So I'm just dragging it smaller. This part I know is tricky, it's just for practice. So if yours is looking not quite like mine, no big deal. As you can see, mine is below the work plane, which I do not want. So how I lift things up, I hope you remember, is you click on this black teardrop and I'm going to lift it up till it probably says 0. So right there it says 0, or I can always click into there and enter 0, push 0 and then enter. And now I've got a star on the end. I'm rotating around, trying to get it positioned just right, which that's the tricky part. That's the part that takes time, is just looking over and over from all the angles. And if you ever kind of feel like you're lost, like you're in here and you can't tell what you're looking at, just push your home button. It's on this side toolbar and it takes you back to the home view. So I've got my place to attach it, I've got my name, and I've got a little star on the end. So take some time to see what you can get done, and I'll be around to take a look to see how it went.